Hello. So one of the things that we use two-dimensional lists for is to represent a two-dimensional space, especially a rectangular or square space. So let's imagine we have a square, roughly square room. All right, and let's say in this room we've got a couch right here, and maybe the doorway door swings out kind of this way, and then let's say we have a table right here, and then maybe there's a lamp sort of here-ish. All right, so we've got a couch, we've got a door, this is some sort of table, and this is a lamp. If we think about this room as a grid, so we redraw the room, and we think of it as a grid where we're going to divide the room, let's say maybe into 4 sections long ways, and then let's do it in maybe roughly 3 sections this way, then we can say the door is roughly in this grid here in the top row in the middle. So what we have is a grid 3 by 4. So our door is in that top row in the center of the 3 blocks in the top row. Then we can say the couch roughly takes up maybe in the left column the the third and fourth rows right here, right? And then we say maybe the table takes up right in front of the couch at the bottom of the screen, and then we have the lamp sort of up here in the second row from the top in the third column. Of course, we think in computer science about us beginning our numbering at 0. So we can say that this first column is the 0 column, then we have the 1 column, and then we have the 2 column, and we can similarly number our rows as well. So our first row is 0, our second row is 1, our third row is 2, and our fourth row is row 3. Now this can be represented in a two-dimensional list. So maybe we have a variable called room, and this is going to be a list of lists. And we're going to let each list, each inner list in our main list represent a row. So maybe we put X's wherever nothing is in the room, so that represents empty space in the room, or maybe you would put an E for empty. I'm gonna fill those with X's though. So therefore, the first row in our room could be represented by a list that has X, and it's a string, and then it's got the string D for door, and then it's got the string X for another empty space. So that is the first list in our room list. This is a list of lists, a two-dimensional list. Our next list would be X, X, and then an L for lamp. Then our next list, we've got C for the first part of the couch, we've got an X for empty space, and we've got another X for empty space. And then our last row, C for the second part of the couch, T for that table, and then an X for that empty space. Now, the numbering works out to be similar to the way we numbered our grid. So for instance, this is going to be our 0 element. So we're looking at this row right here. It's the 0 element in our 2D list, is our 0 row. And then each of the inner elements inside of that list is 0, 1, 2, just like these parts right here. So for instance, if I wanted to find the door is at the 0th row, it's at the first column, and so you would find that door at room sub 0 sub 1. that's going to be where the door is. So maybe if you wanted to say DO for when the door was opened and DC for when the door is closed, you would actually just change what is listed in your two-dimensional list. So this space can be modified. Maybe you want to move the lamp from here, down closer to the couch, and then you could actually update your list to represent where that lamp is. So in the discussion board, you're actually going to use a two-dimensional list to represent a two-dimensional space, which is a game space. So you're looking at a board and you want to represent what is on that board using a two-dimensional list. So you'll sort of do that in the same way as we represented this two-dimensional floor space of a room in just that similar of a way. So I hope this helps you guys out with your discussion board for lists and just with a little bit more insight on how two-dimensional lists can be used. Thanks a lot and happy programming.